Disco by any other name is still disco.
It's disco.
Yeah. It's music for people to go.
What's your music? I mean, it's music to move to as well.
It is.
Isn't rock and roll the ultimate dance music? Didn't it used to be?
The ultimate. It used to be, and rock and roll has turned. I think after the album format craze in the late '60s and early '70s, it turned out to be a message thing. It's gone back, and if you divvy up all the different parts of rock and roll, there's still a lot of real big dance music going out there in rock and roll. The biggest dance music being this Pantera type of White Zombie type of doo, doo, doo. That is a dance. The moshing is a dance, and that to me is a big dance craze. It's different, a little bit different, maybe not as classy, as all the other dance crazes, but that's turned into kind of a dance thing, meaning that a bunch of people get in the same room, listen to rhythms, and do this ritual, which is the mosh or whatever. My music, I don't know. All I do is write songs about. It's a way of getting out what's inside me, so it doesn't fill up and drive me crazy. And I like a lot of different things. Many of them aren't popular now. Some of them are popular, and they just show up in the only way I know how to make them. So it's tended towards a lot of melody lately, but at the same time, there's like this texture that I want to get up there. This kind of artificial kind of, whoosh, that I like to hear.
There's one song. I wrote down the lyrics. Wrote down the title to the song. All Friends and Kingdom Come. I heard the Beatles drum from Tomorrow Never Knows in there.
Yeah, that's it. That is the Beatles drum from Tomorrow Never Knows. It is.
You into that in the Beatles?
I love Tomorrow Never Knows. It's great. It's total great. Yeah, I like the Beatles a lot. I like the Beatles.
Especially they're come on. It used to be the common thing to slag off the Beatles. I mean,
well, I never experienced that.
It used to be punk to be anti-Beatles.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. I guess it was. I always liked them. I liked them since I was a little kid. My brother and all my brothers and sisters used to listen to them when I was a kid, so I always thought they were cool. I haven't been much, and not for a long time, a person who really wants to wear their music as a badge of identity against something else. So I'm not going to say, I like this, so I have to hate that. That's bullshit. It's total fucking bullshit. It's
What do you think of people who are only into one sort of music?
Well, I think they must be really, really into it. Good for them, I think they're probably missing something somewhere.
That's a lame answer.
Well, what do you want? What do you want me to say?
Come on, I mean, it's like, I think it's too easy to be only into one sort of music. I mean, that's a lifestyle. They're not into music at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. I think they're missing something,
You're listening to a wide range of music, but I think your public doesn't. Especially when it goes to the Dynamo Festival.
Yeah, well, the Dynamo Festival, for me, the Dynamo Festival is one gig out of 1,000 gigs. Point me in the right direction, I'll hit the stage. That's one gig out of 1,000 gigs for me. So I don't hold the importance of Dynamo as you seem to.
No. It's just. I don't fancy it to be the biggest or the most important venue ever played. But it was the first time I saw you guys live, so that's why I pinpointed that concert.
Dynamo is like, let me get this straight. That's kind of like a heavy metal festival. Is that what the deal is? Okay. Well, yeah. I think if you want me to go into more about the one type of music thing, I think people.
No, not just that.
These days are led by marketers, people who target market, and reinforce the purchase of the same thing. And what we're talking about now is strictly commerce. We're talking about record companies, we're talking about radio stations, we're talking about people, conditioning people to like the same thing. And
it doesn't work anymore.
I hope it doesn't work.
Look around. I mean, even your record company asked this punk guy who's been around in the punk scene in Amsterdam for 10 years to lead me to you. So it used to be this big guy, suit and tie guy, and
right.
That changes.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's really, really cool because shit. We Monster Man has been and always will be, no matter how ridiculous we'll get with our spatial effects and stuff, a punk band. I can't even play more than 3 strings of my guitar. I never could.
You consider yourself punk?
Yeah, we started as a punk band. I do consider myself a punk band. I mean, if that means getting away with starting in a basement in New Jersey, playing 3 strings on a guitar and a fuzz face, selling 3,000 records and getting a major deal, copping a bunch of money, spending it all, losing it all, getting to this point where I'm like doing interviews and stuff at radio stations. Fuck everybody. What if you don't think that's punk?
Fuck everybody's punk, yeah. Fuck the system.
I mean,
You heard this band, Total Chaos?
Total Chaos? I've heard the name, but I haven't heard them.
Oh, you should check them out.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Is it
totally
is it
spiked 70s.
Yeah, oh, that kind
That's
of punk.
amazing,
Okay, right.
yeah.
See, I was, there's a bunch of different punks here, too. My idea of punk is Stooges and garage punk. That's the original punk. The original punk. The punk that was made famous was spike-haired English punk. Not to mention Ramones style punk. And then it became a genre after that. So the bands that you see now are copying off a genre that was created in the late 70s and early 80s. But actual punk music was created probably in the 50s. You know, I mean, that's
And then there's a thin line between punk and rock and roll.
right.
Let's not get into that.
Would you? That's a whole
Please,
other interview.
yeah. Would you ever play together with the Orb or something on a gig in New York?
Oh, yeah, it would be great. Sure, it would be fantastic.
You see yourself playing in this big rave party?
I would do anything. Yeah, I mean, I played Eindhoven, didn't I? I'll play Eindhoven. I'll play a rave. I'll play anywhere. I mean, it's all the whole world is there and open. So, I mean, if I could, I'd love to take as many opportunities as possible. You know, to go anywhere because it's always interesting. It's always interesting. You know, whether it's a disaster or not, maybe another thing. But you know, fucking A. Yeah, I could see playing one of the rave things. I think it would be pretty funny.
Yeah, me too. I'll be there. There's this quote in your bio by this guy, Alejandro Jodorowsky,
Yeah,
about his the Fantastic Four Marvel comics.
great quote.
You're into that, the Marvel comics?
Yeah, I was into it when I was a kid, and they've stayed with me forever. They stay with me the way.
Are you into
The way old friends stay with
Plastic
me.
Man as well?
Yeah, I was into Plastic Man. Yeah, I just like the whole idea. I mean, especially with that quote. I mean, having Mr. Fantastic, like, you know, ejaculate an invisible woman's heart. It's like you can't beat it. It's too cool.
You know, Tank Girl?
I haven't seen it. I know the comic strip, but I haven't seen the movie. I don't know what the movie's.
Is it out yet in America?
I think it's probably out as we speak.
Why aren't you on the accompanying record CD?
I don't know.
You should be there.
Opportunities. I guess it's
You
blown opportunities.
Jesus Christ. Is playing in Monster Magnet a constant insomnia?
Yes,
How do you cope?
I don't.
Drinking Coca-Cola all the time? Not.
No, actually, you know, it's quite the opposite. The less sleep I get, the more wired I get. So I tend to be like this, like I'm talking, blah, 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 blah. I've only had like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. You tend to get into stuff like sleeping pills and alcohol and stuff like that that fucks you up, that puts you out very quickly, and then sleep for 4 or 5 hours and then wake up. I'm like, okay, whatever. And it's a up and down situation. Happy one day, sad the next day. Happy one day, sad the next day.
Do you read books?
I try to. It's kind of hard on the road, and the vehicle is so bumpy, so everyone gets sick reading, and because you just can't stay with it.
Talk like Bukowski. You're into Bukowski?
I used to be into Bukowski a lot. Yeah, I'm into Bukowski. There was a time in my life where I just thought Bukowski was just the coolest.
Why aren't there any lyrics on the booklet?
Because they spoil the package. They fill up the whole, you know, it spoils the whole package. I never thought people would be that interested in my lyrics. So I always said, well, why don't you just have a pretty picture instead? And now I'm starting to regret not putting the lyrics because I have so many people come up to me and go like, why don't you put the lyrics on them? So I think I'm going to try to do something that will make the people who want to have the lyrics happy. Maybe they can send in a self-stamped envelope and I'll mail them the lyrics, and then we can say, okay, you can have the lyrics and stuff, because I always thought it was just a little bit pompous to actually like say, here, read everything I say, you know. They either dig it or they don't.
People are interested. It shows.
Yeah, it now I feel bad because I didn't, because people actually come up to me like angry, like, how dare you? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't think you would be that interested.
Who is Bert de Ruiter?
Who's what?
Bert de Ruiter.
Bert the Writer from A&M?
I don't know. Who is he?
Oh, he's like a head muckamuck at A&M in London. Why? Why do you ask that?
I was checking out the names on your thanking list, and I found this Dutch.
He's a guy who he's a Dutchman who works in London now. Works for A&M. He's a really nice man. He's from Holland.
How do you get Oh, you told it before. Alan Moulder. He mixed it. He was in the Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah, we've been there. Generation XXX. Dopes to Infinity is an exploded manifesto for Generation XXX. Do you believe in Generation X?
Well, I kind of believe in it, meaning that I don't know what the media's definition of Generation X is now, but I know what my definition of Generation XXX is, and that's people who have very little real history of their own history to get excited about. Meaning that if you're a rock and roll fan, yeah, I mean, it's like if you look in the history of rock and roll, there was always some sort of like world event that catapulted the music into something that meant more. The 50s, it was sex. It was a big sexual revolution. I mean, Elvis Presley and all that stuff, and the whole and interracial thing. It was a big cultural movement to have white kids actually get to go like this, you know. This seems quaint to us now, but back then it was probably a big deal, you know. And the 60s, war, youth rebellion. Another first. 70s, drugs. And then it kind of started to peter out a bit and started to focus in on more of not that the music got any worse, because there's a lot of cool music from all the times, but the actual bonding, world bonding of rock and rollers started to split apart. And now Generation XXX are people who are raised solely on reruns, rock and roll history, and point of purchase mentality. What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? No good. No good. Next. One guy, you know.
The ultimate consumer, also.
Yeah, ultimate consumer. Yeah, and they can't make stuff fast enough for them. You know. I want more, new. So a lot of times.
Isn't it just like people are losing their interest in stuff?
They have no interest to begin with. They're not. I think the media is conditioning people not to pay close attention to what they're consuming, because there's not enough space in the human brain to both buy all this stuff and challenge themselves by reading. Like novels.
They're
losing ground big time, because people just don't think it's worth it. They don't understand the worth, the actual true worth of indulging in the amount of time you have to spend to read a novel. You get more out of a novel than you'll get out of a movie. But the way that people are conditioned now, it's like, well, a novel takes too much of my precious time, therefore a novel is not worth as much as a good movie. It's bullshit. Total bullshit.
Another thing, more thing. Do you know about the Church of the Subgenius?
Yeah, I love the Church of the Subgenius. Those wacky guys. I've been like looking at them for years and years. I mean, I can't tell if they're serious or not. You know? The whole Slack thing, you know, and the whole they're pretty funny. Great graphics.
Okay. One more thing. To me, you are like a Lemmy from America, 20 years younger.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment.